Well, earlier I spoke to a financier from Las Vegas who said he and his son could have been one of the 5 people on board the Titan. Jay Bloom was approached by the OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush multiple times over the span of several months. Recently, he published these texts on Facebook. You can see them here. One of them shows how Rush even offered a discount as launch dates got closer. Bloom voiced his son's concerns over safety and ultimately declined going aboard last Sunday's trip, citing scheduling conflicts and reservations of his own. He told me he's now grappling with the emotions of that fateful decision that kept his family safe, but left others without a father and a son of their own. Jay Bloom, thanks for joining us. You're in Las Vegas right now. I know it's just had to have been just an awful, I can only imagine, last 5 days or so. What's going through your mind when you think about everything that's happened and knowing that you and your own child could have been on that sub?
You know, I'll tell you what's going through my mind. It's kind of surreal. Like, this has been an enormous news story, and it's everywhere you look. And every time I see a picture of the people that lost their lives on this tragic event, I look at that picture of the father and son who replaced my son and myself and think just how easily, but for the grace of God, that could have been our picture on the news. So it's really sobering.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this happened on Father's Day, Jay, last Sunday. You talk about it was you and your son could have been on the Titan. Instead, you were replaced by another father and another son. How much have you had to wrestle with that over the last week?
It's, yeah, it gives you a lot to think about. The fact that there's another father and son that took my son's spot and my spot is very, very disturbing. And I can't get away from it because every news station I turn on, or even social media news, and it's everywhere. And I see pictures of this father and son and think how easily that could have been my son and myself.
You know, you shared some of the text messages, Jay, between yourself and Stockton Rush. And it seems like there was a bit of a courtship going on, him asking you continually, or at least over the course of several months, whether or not you wanted to go on that sub. Looking back, with everything that you knew then and experienced then and everything that we've seen and know now, I'm wondering what the red flags are now that you can sit back with the time that you've had and everything that you know. Were there any red flags, and what might they have been?
So, yes, there were definitely red flags that surfaced. You know, when Stockton first approached me with the idea, it sounded very, very sexy and very exciting and, you know, a real bucket list kind of item. My son was a big Titanic aficionado. My son is a big fan of the Titanic, so I thought it'd be great for us to do something together. And you just, the allure of the proposition was just so compelling that you just kind of take for granted that everything has been reviewed and checked out. And my son talked to his friend, and the two of them came back and voiced some concerns. They were concerned about the vessel. They were concerned about the marine life that we're going to encounter. They were concerned about some of the materials that were used in the construction of the hull. They were concerned about a consumer-grade game system controller being used for this commercial application. And they voiced their concerns. I relayed the concerns to Stockton, and as I learned more, I grew more concerned myself. Stockton,
what were those concerns?
Text messages.
Yeah, what were those concerns as you learned more, Jay?
Well, things like the concerns that arose were things like consumer-grade equipment and off-the-shelf stuff from the Garden Center and Home Depot being used for commercial application, and not just a commercial application, but a commercial application in one of the harshest environments on the planet. You know, it was very concerning. And then the more I learned, I found out you can't open the sub hatch from the inside. It's bolted on by 18 bolts on the outside, so even if there was an emergency and you're surfaced, you can still suffocate inside the sub on the surface. There's a lot going on.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.